level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. Level up. Level up. Go.
You still hear the music?
First things first, I want to apologize for our tardiness. And also apologize for the technical difficulties that we're having with this new platform. I need to call them and give them a piece of my mind, respectfully. This is ridiculous. We pay good money for this. Notice how I said we, because it ain't about me. It's we. You know? All right. Thank you. This is things people don't want to talk about, brought to you by God Level. That will be me. Um, I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a mother. I'm a nurse. I'm a friend. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a GG. I am everything good. John, if you can hear me, can you represent yourself?
John Skywalker, the Slot Talker here, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and I'm a father. Salute.
Salute. Inattentive Ivy and your 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hamsters. You want to go ahead and represent yourself?
It's 19. I swear. It's 19 after like these. What's going on, y'all? It's your girl Ivy. Hailing from the great state of Washington in the U.S. I am a mom. I am a former broadcast journalist with the Army. I am a sister, a friend. I am inattentive. I talk about ADHD, and that's the reason why all of my hamsters are also here in attention. They're also here in attendance. So, yeah, hey, thank you. And I'm of service. Thank you for having me here. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Aaron, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Yes, I'm AP. I'm currently back in Columbia, Missouri with the snow. Ugly, just ugly.
I know. You just left beautiful weather to come back to some bull
Right.
crap.
Dead into it. I'm a parent. I'm an auntie. I'm a pharmacy technician of 20 years. I'm all about peace, love, and self-care.
Absolutely. Follow her on Facebook. She drops a self-care tip every day. You will love it. You will definitely love it.
Excuse me.
We're waiting for Brother Dion. He's having some technical difficulties. I'm going to be calling them.
In the meantime, though, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and
Oh,
offer
go
that
ahead with
trigger
the trigger
warning.
warning. Go
Yeah,
ahead and offer
trigger
the
warning
trigger
for this
warning.
show, because this could be triggering to anybody who's in attendance, anybody who's watching. This podcast is going to delve into the sensitive and distressing topic of child sexual abuse, particularly the context of the phrase "what goes on in this house stays in this house." Right. So, listener discretion is advised, as the content may be it might be triggering. It could be emotionally challenging for any individuals who have possibly experienced trauma or is sensitive to any discussion that's surrounding abuse. So we encourage you to prioritize your mental well-being, your mental health, and seek support if needed, before engaging with this content or afterwards. But mainly, the thing is that do some self-care. Yeah,
absolutely. Tonight's show is called "What Goes On in This House Stays in This House." Let's talk about that. What goes on in this house stays in this house. What does it mean? Where did the term come from, and how does it affect us in a positive and in a negative manner? To a child that's growing up in an abusive home, whether it's physical, emotional, or traumatizing while watching their parents be abusive to one another in any fashion, is detrimental. It is a cycle within our community that needs to be broken, that affects us all, and can sometimes lead to lifelong pain, confusion, misunderstanding, because we have not been given the opportunity and or the safe space to express ourselves and how we feel. A lot of us hold it in until it becomes too much to bear, which can lead us down the road to certain behaviors that is unbecoming to who we are, even as a culture. A lot of us parenting are repeating the same cycles that was passed down from the generation before us, because it was what they knew as well. A lot of us grew up in homes that was based in survival and not in love. And what goes on in this house has definitely played a part in growing up in survival mode. Not just for the children, but also the parents who grew up on that very principle alone. So, how do we as a culture break the cycle that has been embedded in us by the ones we trust? Woo.
We have to
Was
open up platforms like we have here,
was
where we
that
have
was
to
that a mouthful? Yeah.
start talking about it as we're
Yeah.
doing now. We have to start having these discussions, and hopefully, the more we have these discussions, then other people will have them, and then it'll spill over. But something definitely has to be done because that's something that has plagued our community for a long time, is sweeping things under the rug and not focusing or not even addressing. If
Yeah.
you don't talk about it, it didn't happen.
Yep. And just move on like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it becomes
Um,
a sickness.
yeah. I've talked to a cousin of mine, and she was telling me about someone that she knew that had been essayed as a child by the father. The father apparently went through the whole family,
Mm.
and a lot of those children grew up with some sort of dependency issue, drugs, alcohol, promiscuous sex, just out there dealing and coping with what has happened to them as a child. You have to be careful when raising a child. Us parents have to be in a healthy state of mind. That'll probably be one thing Diamond will put out there, in a healthy state of mind to be able to start to raise these children, um, that's going to be taking care of us tomorrow. We have to be healthy. We have to acknowledge the trauma that we may have um, endured as a child coming up, the things that we have seen, the things that the questions that we may have had, the trauma, the drama, and a lot of us see so much drama that we actually become addicted to it. Toxic
Very
behavior.
addicted. Very addicted. We have to
Emotional
live.
addiction.
Yeah,
Hmm.
one crisis to the next. Some people have to live
Woo!
from one crisis to another.
Because
If
they
it's
don't
not a
understand.
crisis, if it's not a problem, they'll create one. And we've been around. I'm sure everybody has been around somebody that does that, has done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know that that is actually a thing, like emotional addiction, like being addicted to like those heavy, addictive, toxic emotions, like being addicted to rage and being addicted
Mm,
to,
anger.
yeah, being addicted to rage, anger, sometimes being addicted to sadness, you know, like we just want, like seriously, like wanting to feel, like needing to feel that, like they, like I saw it described as like people's hit emotions. You know, it is almost akin to like sniffing, you know, a
Yeah,
certain white substance. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like if like they've done studies on it, like it lights up the same receptors as it does in the brain as cocaine, getting
I
those
could
hit
I could
emotions.
believe that. If you
Ooh.
constantly think about, if you've grown up in a household for 18 years of nothing but arguments, uh, hateful talk towards each other, couples can call each other some nasty, some low down stuff, and they doing it in front of the children, and then you've been listening to this for 18 years, and you go on for your next, you go into your relationship. It may not necessarily be only that you've been taught that, but you also, like you said, are addicted to it because you don't know any other way to function.
You don't know
Sure
any
don't.
other way. The fight,
Sure do
the
not.
fight and the makeup. Fight, makeup, fight, makeup,
Yeah,
fight,
you've
makeup.
heard
It's the
people
cycle.
say, "Yeah, we fight as much as we, or as hard as we fight, we have
We love, yeah,
have sex." It's people that live by that.
yeah,
Hmm. It literally is, and it's an addictive cycle,
Yeah,
and it is.
yeah.
Um, and you know, listen, this topic right here is a gut punch, man. I'm telling you, it's a gut
Mm-hmm,
punch because I'm just thinking
mm-hmm,
not just child abuse, but also just like, I mean, just abusive tendencies in general. They kind of start off with, I mean, you know, um, Yeah, like what goes on in this house stays in this house. So yo, you don't go out there snitching,
Right.
or you don't take that stuff. Oh yeah, or you don't
It
or we
spills
no
over
we
into
don't
the
talk
streets.
to. Yeah, like you can't spill it. Like I'm like, but the shame of your secrets, or
Right.
the shame of people's secrets, keep them sick.
Hmm.
Will
You
destroy
keep
And
you.
that's
it.
where the dependency comes in at,
Yeah.
alcohol, drugs, sex,
The
violent
shame of your
behavior,
secrets will destroy
anger.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, because literally people are they're looking for ways to really cope with the abuse that's happened, and
Hmm.
what they're doing is they're coping using very toxic, coping skills. And most of if nobody addresses their real feelings, it gets shoved
Hmm.
down, and that's where the toxicity starts.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the substance abuse, the raging, like all of that stuff, like it's I think it's a I could say so much. I'm just trying to, oh, because
Let it
I don't.
all out, honey. That's what we're here for. We're going to talk about all of this. Let it all out. And then one thing that we didn't do as a community is that we didn't seek mental health.
Oh no. Mm-mm. That was
And-
taboo.
Ooh, because none of us wanted to look like we were actually
Yeah.
crazy.
And I think that stems from, and y'all, if y'all think I'm wrong, y'all, I'm up for the debate. But I truly think that stems from slavery. We were called
Mm,
ignorant and dumb and stupid and crazy, and this and that and that and this, and everything that was poked at was our mental capacity, and then you go on the lazy and so on and so forth. So it made it such a shameful thing that we don't even want to address it. It's a lot of people out here that got kids, that got problems, and you wonder why they in a diaper at 7, 8 years old, because what goes on in this house stays in this house, and nobody is
hmm.
going to go outside of this household to get some help for this child.
Right.
It's called
Mm,
delusion.
Yeah,
mm.
yeah, but
Delusion.
I think it definitely stems from slavery. That's in my opinion, because it's like we are afraid. We're just now opening up to being receptive to some type of mental health. But back in the 80s, 90s, when I was coming up, it was unheard of for somebody to say that I'm on Prozac. That's something to laugh about. That was something to make fun of.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Especially people of our community, man. Black
Yeah.
people
Oh,
are
yeah.
definitely like, they
And
was
I
like, you
know
on a what?
only reason I know is because I was on it, and there was that white people stuff. That's what was,
Mm,
and I'm telling them, if it take me take one pill to make everything all right, I'm taking the pill.
to keep me from hurting
Yeah.
you.
But that was definitely not a black thing. That was white people stuff.
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah, let's
question,
bring up that
John.
question. Yeah.
Does the phrase have a benefit? Ooh, you make me feel ashamed you are made to feel ashamed for seeking help. Yeah. Who wrote
Hmm.
that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely.
for your comment. Yeah. You
Yeah.
really are. Like, why would you go and sit up and talk to somebody and tell them all of
All
your
your
business?
business. There you go. Think about how
It's-
many kids was untreated, that I'm just gonna say, and coming up, in the 80s time, that I know a few kids that it's obvious that with the issue, that there was an issue, but nobody ever addressed it.
Mm,
Nobody ever addressed it. So that's what I'm saying when I'm saying 12-year old with a diaper on, 7 years old just learning how to walk. That's just,
I just
it's easy for us to say, oh, that's just how they are.
mm.
That's just how that,
That's
it'll
very
be okay.
and that's very dismissive. Yeah.
Yeah, very, because
but
go ahead.
I'm no, my bad.
Go
I'm
ahead.
taking that, like what you just said, right? Like nobody is going to address it, right? But I'm like, at the end of the day, like how does that benefit the family? That no, I'm just like thinking about it from my point of view now. Maybe not like when I was 20 something, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Or back in those days. I'm like, how did
How
that
does that
benefit?
benefit?
How
That's a
did that
very good
benefit
question.
I
families?
think it's a selfish benefit, because it's, as we said, shameful. When you say that
Yeah.
there's a problem, a mental problem, now you feel some type of shame because you know how we'll do. We'll get on. You know that baby like that because she was drinking while she was pregnant, or that baby like that because this that. You know, we'll point out every flaw and every reason. She'll be all at fault, and a lot of times the woman is not at fault at all. But you know, we'll
Mm.
get down bad on somebody about having a child with a problem.
Ooh. Yeah.
So
That
sometimes
Mm.
is
it's the
true.
same. A lot of times it's the same face,
Okay.
and it's sad, selfish, very selfish.
You know, and not only that, but I'm like, what is the harm in getting your child? So, okay, y'all, I got ADHD. I think everybody knows, right? Everybody at least on here knows, but just for anybody who's watching, in case you don't, right? And
Mhm.
I had a friend who I'm talking. I came up with this friend in in elementary school, middle
Okay.
school, high school, college, like known them all of my life. They just told me
Mhm.
last year that they had ADHD the entire time, right? And I was
Mhm.
like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it clicked. I was like, you know what? That makes perfect sense, right? But the thing is that she felt ashamed
Hmm.
to like,
Mm.
even though she was diagnosed as a kid,
Mhm.
felt ashamed, never talked about it. And I'm just like, if you think about like just something that is mental, right? And you filter down to like something that's so insidious as abuse.
Mm.
I'm like, what is the benefit of keeping that? What is the benefit of keeping that away? And I understand that that people will be like, oh, they'll talk bad about them and everything else. But I'm like, at the end of the day, you're just there with yourself. So how much opinion? I mean, how much stock are you putting in that other person's opinion? You know?
People are afraid to be a topic. They're
Hmm.
afraid to be talked about. Those people care a lot about what other people think of them.
And other people can be real insensitive,
True.
very insensitive. You know, especially we can go. We don't even have to say race or culture or anything like that, but we can say economics. Poor people
Mm.
ain't got shit to do but talk about a
Mm.
motherfucker. They ain't making no money. I'm just being honest. They ain't got
That's why you
nothing to
gotta love
do.
Aaron.
So you think about that. You think about the less you make, or the closer you are to the poverty line. That becomes uh, a group of people that don't address certain things. Because of course they ain't nobody got nothing to do but sit
Right.
up and talk about the next person. So
That's
that's where
true.
we go to saving face. I don't want to. I don't want nobody to know that this is going on.
Mm.
Mm.
And it's just sad.
Or
And it's
the
just
thought
sad.
the thought of losing everything they feel like they acquired.
Now that's true too when we talking about the abuse and so on
The
and so
abuse.
forth.
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
then let's get into it. There goes a reason why people would keep it in the family.
yeah. Fear
Fear of
of
losing it
losing
all.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
The abuse will continue to go on. Don't say anything because we will lose everything. I've
Hmm.
had that said to me before. So yeah, that it's the fear of losing everything, the feeling of the fear of having everyone in your business, of the fear of being talked about, gossiped about, you thinking what they think is more important than doing the right thing.
That's true too. That fear of confronting the situation, which is right. They
Hmm.
rather not, and a lot of people want to avoid that confrontation, and then they want to hold on to whatever fantasy that they have built. Because I don't believe that abuse comes from people that are mentally healthy. I mean that's
Oh
just
no.
not even able to happen. So we're talking about generations of unhealthy mental,
Ooh,
unhealthy mentally healthy people. I couldn't even get it out.
right. It's okay. Take your time, baby.
We're
Because
talking about
religion.
several generations of people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go back in my family tree and just think about how some of the stuff I be looking at like that shit wasn't right.
It wasn't.
And then you keep
Yeah.
going, and as you start coming down, you think about granddaddy, and and I'm not saying that nothing. I'm not saying anything sexual or anything. I'm just saying in general, you start thinking about like the discipline factors
Hmm.
where you like, 3 generations ago they was knocking niggas out. Now you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But
Facts.
you talking about 3 generations ago, they'll put you on your ass.
Shit, that
You
one
be
generation ago, I'm
Man,
part of that
yeah, I
damn
was going to say, 'cause
generation.
I know my mama done handled me a couple of
Man,
times.
I didn't got handled. You put the H in handled.
but yeah,
Uh,
I just I'm sorry, go ahead, mama. My bad.
That's a trigger warning for me thinking about all the whoopings. Man, I'm like, what the hell was she thinking? Why was she so angry?
hmm No,
Oh
And
no
my
what goes on in this house stays in this
stays in
house.
this
She used to
house.
beat the
Yeah.
crap out of us. And then it took a
facts.
social worker to come to the house and be like, we've been hearing that certain things has been going on. And me and my brother looked at each other and we looked at her and we had nothing to say.
hmm
Oof.
Because who you
Ooh,
gonna
I
fear
got
more? The person that been beating your ass, or this person in here?
Look, white lady, are you going to save me?
Right,
No.
right. Can you beat her? Because it don't
She
look
will
like you
tear
can.
you down.
Right. It don't look like you can whoop her. So I'm going with the lady that's
Right.
been whooping ass.
You walking with a cane anyway, honey. You one step from the grave. You know what she will, and that's it.
Right.
No.
I'm just thinking about this question that's popped up here. Does religion have an influence?
Tell Jesus about it.
I don't know, because I'm
So
like, I've heard of some religions that based off of, go ahead, Ivy.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
what's really strange right now? I feel it, so I understand. I'm sorry, all the hamsters are hamstering. Okay, so
Exactly.
there's so many different situations that I can think of to speak on this topic, like this specific question right here, because
Mhm.
if you've heard me speak about my experience just growing up, I grew up in the church, right?
Mhm.
And I grew up around church people. So there are so
Mhm.
many instances that I can think of that people have been under within the church, well, where they were like, it was their religion and it had an effect on the fact of whether or not they were going to talk about the abuse. So I'm gonna try to round about this one, because I'm trying not to speak on other people's situations. Yeah, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So at one point in time, there was an incident, right, where a kid in the church was being molested by their parent, right? And the other spouse, the spouse of said kid, and the parent of said kid was like, well, I think I'm going to try, instead of automatically, like, once they found out, instead of automatically, trusting their gut and possibly saying, I'll probably need to do something legal about this. The first instinct was to go and consult the church, to go and consult the pastor, to go and consult, the so-called religious leaders that were in there. And I'm thinking, I'm gonna try to leave my opinion where it lies, because I understand where it was. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact that I grew up in the church, I understand how somebody could have that
Mm-hmm.
opinion. But I was like, man, that baby was done a disservice. You know what I mean? And it's religious. I think that in some cases, because of the fact that you're like, you want to, oh, I don't know. People sometimes, women sometimes in the church are just taught till death do you part with your
Yeah.
spouse. So that means
Mhm.
for better or for worse, and worse is worse. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's killing. The worst is killing the generations. But I made this vow.
Mhm.
So for that reason, I'm going to allow my peoples to get beat. I'm going to allow myself to get abused verbally, emotionally, sexually, whichever way, other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to allow this to happen because of the fact that spouse put a ring on my finger, and so I have this devotion to them. And because maybe the Bible says, cleave unto your husband or your wife, and leave everything else, right? And I'm just like, but bro, but
Right.
sis,
Right. There needs to be a clause in there somewhere.
Mhm.
I'm thinking that the clause is human.
Mm-hmm.
Clause is human fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Pause is your gut. I mean, the clause is your gut, because the thing is that higher power still gives you free will. and
Right.
still gives you the will to do the right thing. I'm gonna leave it alone. Let me shut up. I'm gonna put myself on. I'm putting myself on mute.
It's
Mm,
okay.
it's
I don't know if necessarily religion or the leader who you following that's teaching that religion, because you can go to some churches and you'll have a stand up man. The first thing he doing is calling the police, and then you can have other churches where you have this man that's so into his religion that he'll say that's a good man. We don't want to destroy him. We're gonna let this slide and so on, and just ask for forgiveness. You know, the Catholics, the Hail Marys get them a long way.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
You know,
Because I'm
I
like, if
don't know how
somebody
many Hail Marys you could say for
that's
what specific act, but you know that it's from what I understand, you can say some Hail Marys and get away with quite a few things.
You can
You
do
nah,
know,
whatever
dog.
it is you
Christianity, if
want
we
because
repent,
all you got to do is repent. TD
yeah,
Jakes said it best. If I did do it, all I got to do is plead the
yeah,
blood, and I am
a
forgiven.
child molester. You know, I've talked to I got quite a few gay friends, and a long time ago, one of them said, you know, I think I'm finna go to hell, Miss Aaron, for being gay. I said, huh? I'm looking at not the guy that I know. No, if a child
That part.
molester, somebody that didn't kill 45 people, all they gotta do is say the Hail Marys would before they inject them. I mean, all they gotta do is repent before they give them that injection. What make you think you're going? And you ain't bothering nobody.
Child, listen.
So I mean,
Child.
I guess it depends on who your leader is.
Yeah,
It's
in said church. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Does religion have an influence? Because they live by that too. What goes on in this house stays in this house.
yeah. And the church
They
Yes,
has
don't.
they do.
They don't want certain things getting out about their pastors, their preachers, their deacons. You know, they
Mm-mm.
don't want people to know that. Guess what? They sleeping and creeping.
right. We might be seeing that unfold pretty
Yeah,
soon.
yeah, sleeping and creeping with the congregation and the children thereof. Like,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's been
we're about
happening.
to start seeing
that's
that
that's
unfold real
been
soon.
out. Yeah. So it is not uncommon to see it in a church, no matter what color it is.
Yeah.
That is so
Pastor
true.
Eddie Long, we saw that with him,
Hmm.
unfold
Yeah.
with him. So I mean, we're about to see it. It's about to history about to repeat itself because we're gonna see it again.
Yeah. We seeing it right now. They
Hmm.
claiming old boy
Who?
allegedly.
Yeah, but
I'm
I'm
like,
sure
who we talking
what's
about?
been going on in that house been staying in that house for a long time.
Yeah. Churches have to really protect
Their reputation.
there it is. They have to protect their reputation so they can continue to get the funds from the people that they need to continue to build.
And you know, I've
That's
heard a lot of
ridiculous.
church people say, don't don't condemn. What is it? Don't condemn the messenger, or don't miss the message because of the messenger, or however that goes. When
No,
basically,
fuck that. I'm gonna miss it every time.
no,
Every
I'm
time.
with you. I'm with you on that. 'Cause I can't.
Every time.
You know, no, you can't. No, you can't come and tell
You
me
know,
anything, and you're not doing close to. And I know every person has flaws, but there's certain flaws that I just can't accept.
man, come on, bro. Like seriously.
Oh.
Come on, let's talk about it. The I'm a mind my business
Oh.
mindset.
Okay, John is just on fire tonight with these questions, baby, because this just got us
Man,
going. Keep it up, brother. I wish you could hear me. I hope you can hear me.
I know,
I'm gonna
right? I'm
mind
like,
my
I hope you.
business.
I
You
wish I had
know
some sign language for you. I wish I did.
that applies to certain things. If you see some people that will see a man and a woman fighting and will not jump in
Uh-huh.
because women have been known to continue to be with that man afterward, to continue to deal with that abuse with that man. Don't they may turn on you if you jump in.
That's
I
true.
would say I have definitely minded my business, and sometimes that I knew as I get older, or as I'm older, it hurts my feelings, and it makes me feel it. I just get teary eyed because I know I shouldn't have minded my business. I knew what was going on. My spidey senses is too strong not to know what's going on, and then to find out later that my spidey senses were right, but I'm just minding my business. I'm 19, 20 years old, and I
Yeah,
know what's going on,
yeah.
Mm.
but I'm still in that not snitching mindset. Now that I'm older, I don't give a damn about snitching. I'm a civilian. I'm telling. So what?
Is that funny? With
Don't do nothing, because if you do it,
She said was
if
very
you do it today, they gonna know about it tomorrow.
yeah,
facts.
yeah. I was
Facts.
in Cincinnati at work, 7 p to 7 a, and I went outside to take a break, and I literally was watching a man attempting to take this lady sexually. I ran back in to call the police so goddamn quick. They got him. She was under the influence. She was drugged, alcohol. He ended up going to jail because what the what are you doing? So yeah, I did not hesitate. So if I see something's wrong, especially concerning a child, I'm picking up the phone. Y'all better come. You better come investigate.
Yeah, but the thing is that somebody who is the people who are abusing children are not the ones who are doing anything out in the open. You know. Oh, yeah, that's facts.
Who wrote that?
What's it say? Y'all know I'm blind. Y'all
Uh-oh.
know
It's sad
interpret
when
for
your
the
family
blind
is.
lady.
It's sad when your family. That, I
That's
was
Love
trying
Shine,
to
I
read.
think.
I was
Yeah,
love
that's Love
trying,
Shine.
man, because you don't want people looking at you a certain way. You're more concerned about what other people think
Mm-hmm.
than doing
It's
the right thing.
And that's something that's been taught to us. I don't. That's not. I call it a tradition, and I hate to say it that way because traditions are supposed to be happy and great, but it has
Mhm.
become a tradition where we pass this on down the line because I'm sure it was said to my mama and my daddy. I know it was because my
mm,
aunt had heard my grandpa and my grandma say, you know what I'm saying? So I know
yeah.
it's been passed down, and whoever told them. And it's just like it just becomes this thing. And like I said, if you don't acknowledge it, it didn't happen. And a lot of
And
people just
and
some
when you
I don't know if it's people aren't strong enough to acknowledge these things and confront the situation. I don't know if it's you have some people that are it's her, it's been passed down on the abuse has been passed down so much that I survived it, you can too. You got mothers out here that are so sick in their mind, and this may have been going on for 3 or 4 generations, but my mama did it. My mama had a whole baby by her daddy. I had one by my uncle, and now you gonna have one by yours. We made it. We okay. It sounds crazy, and it sounds sad, and I'm sure this may trigger some people out there, but this shit happens. This really
yes,
goes on, and that's why I'm
yeah.
putting it out there because I don't want to stand in the house no more.
Wow. That
Let's talk about it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Aaron,
Okay.
but I'm like
she
I
read
was
that
reading.
statement. She read. I remember one of my family members being mad at me because I wanted to heal and talk about my abuse.
Mhm.
Okay, you know something? Let's keep this shit a whole fuck. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I just got lit.
No.
Let's
Mhm.
keep it a whole buck. Y'all know I'm real transparent with my shit.
Mhm.
Really, right? And y'all know I went mental health. I had to go into an inpatient treatment center
Mhm.
because of the fact that I was out. There was so much trauma from my family, just from them just being abusive, and because of the fact that they were used to living in that dysfunction and that
Yeah.
abuse,
Mhm.
right? And when it was time for me to heal, I specifically remember two two things said by my family members. The one was, don't get in that facility and tell them white people nothing that ain't true.
That's how it. Yep. You know the first thing. Yep. Yep.
What?
I'm
Excuse me? What is the truth? Because you ain't living in it.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You are still in your denial. So
Mhm.
you're not about to make me like I got to live in my denial. And then it was, oh, there she go again, catering to all that weird shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Well, you know her mama was bipolar, so that's probably the reason why she going in there anyway. Oh, girl, it was a mess. I kid you not.
Yeah.
And you know something? I wasn't going to talk about it because we're
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
But and even if my family is watching this, I don't give a shit because the truth is, for real, because I went to go get help, I'm here and I'm able to be of service and I'm
Yes,
able to
ma'am.
talk about the stuff that I went through,
That's
the
right.
abuse
Yes,
that I
ma'am.
went through, you know? And I'm not gonna lie, none of it was sexual. All of it was all for me, it was emotional. And I saw enough physical. I saw enough physical where it fucked me up pretty good.
Yeah.
You understand? And I'm just now, I went to inpatient 3 years ago. I'm just now untangling all of that bit of stuff, of abuse and things that I was exposed to. And because nobody wants to talk about it, they still don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you gotta let people be sick. Let them be
Yeah.
sick. But you cannot be sick with them.
I
You
refuse.
cannot be sick with them. And
I refuse.
a lot of us are just now, because I know that we all, in our 40s or, thereabout, this light bulb comes on where you like, I can't keep fucking living like this. Whatever is going on and whatever's been going, I don't know what it is, but I know this shit ain't right. And I can't keep doing this. So then you start trying to look for answers and figure out what's going on. And then you start, them generational curses are real because you start tracing that bloodline and you start remembering some of the stories that you'd heard and who said this and piecing it all together. And then you realizing it's affecting you the same way because so and such and such did this and said this and so on and so forth. Just that verbal emotional abuse, I think, it plagues us. It plagues our community.
It's killing us, man. It's killing us.
You think of I was talking to someone and we was talking about finding a therapist or whatever. I said, I don't want no white therapist. And she said,
they don't understand the black experience.
I said, well, she's not gonna understand when I'm telling her that my mama is like, this don't make no motherfucking sense. This house is dirty and y'all stupid ass, this, that, and this. She's not going to understand that. I need a black lady that's gonna understand that woke up in the household and she's heard similar stuff. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody to help me through the same things that I have experienced, because we sitting there, that's everyday things to us. That ain't no big deal. But then after you start thinking about it, you like, that was kind of fucked. You know what I'm saying? Some of the things that I be thinking about that have been said to me by adults, and I'm just like, now wait a minute. Now, just certain things you just like, that's why I am. I feel like sometimes I'm very aggressive. And I'm not aggressive, I'm passionate, but I talk real rough, and I'm definitely a cusser. But I get that from my mama. At one particular time, before she became the nice little old white lady, before she passed, she wasn't that nice little old white lady. When I was coming up, she was kicking ass. Cussing me out.
Right.
So you have to, you start figuring out things as you get older. And I just hope that this particular show starts opening up doors in people's mind to say, hey, wait a minute. I've been through some shit.
Start the conversation.
Yeah, because we normalize a lot of stuff. And it's like this, you ain't supposed to be cussing your kids out. They 2 and 3 years old. Motherfucker, bad motherfucker, dumb motherfucker. Like, God, please.
Come on, man.
Ooh. Walked into a gas station. This sister was cussing her son out so bad. I was pissed.
Yeah.
You doing it in public? Like, what?
And no shame.
But if a grown man walked up to you and started talking to you the same way you talking to your child, you'll feel disrespected.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or be mad because, and I know this is gonna piss some people off, but want to be mad why he date outside his race. Because the one that was with his mama, she done cussed him out so bad, made him feel some type of way so bad. He like, some people just can't handle that. They like, nah. And then some people just find the same type of woman that cuss him out all day. And then you got some that'll stray away completely. Like, I'm finding
that is so true. That. So I'm gonna go ahead and be real vulnerable again, right? Just because you said that, Aaron. For the longest time, I felt so disconnected from my community because of that. Oh yeah, like I felt so disconnected. Look, I got a Blondie shirt on, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I liked everything alternative. I was always different, and I grew up in a space where I wasn't allowed to be different. And I had my people, that the same ones that looked like me, cussing me out, abusing me, calling me names because of the fact that I was different. I couldn't do things like they did. I couldn't understand that. Like, I was like, I just want to be me, right? So like you said, some people would step outside of their, they're like,
You
I
trying to
don't
get
want
as
anything.
far away as possible. Like,
Right.
no.
Right. Yeah. It is something for me. It was something I was like, I had to address that, Yeah. So I can definitely see what you're saying. It's like, they're like, I'm just going to go someplace completely and totally different, because wherever you can't heal in the same place where you got sick,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know?
And you can't heal around sick people.
Say that.
Come on, man. So
Say
true.
that.
Yeah,
Cannot.
I have a well, we used to be friends, and she don't date nothing but anything but black. She black. At first it
Mhm.
was all white men. And so I'm asking her, I know I'm biracial, and I'm just asking her because it's so weird to me that she didn't want to have nothing, and I'm just like, not one. So she just told me, confided in me, and she said, coming up, I never seen no black men work. She was like,
Wow.
my daddy didn't work. Everybody out here hustling or doing some type of drugs. It was a lot of drug activity going on and stuff like that. So when she got older, she was like, she don't want to be with nobody that don't work. And so all she thought was the people that work was white people, white men.
Wow.
You see how we mess our kids up with the people don't look at the things that we do that reflect on our children.
So true.
And I'm like,
Because
did that sound correct? I mean, that sounds sick. That's unhealthy thinking.
and not only do we mess our kids up with that type of thinking, even if they question it, what happens? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When they start to question it,
Do
because
as
I
I
know they.
say, not yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
Come on,
Exactly.
man. Come on. Because I
And
used to I used to
we
ask all
we
kinds
all
of
grew up
questions.
on that. You
Right.
Yeah,
gotta stop that.
absolutely.
You got to stop telling kids, don't do this and don't do that. You got to tell them why
Right.
they
Explain.
Hmm.
shouldn't do it. Explain that shit. And then you want to feel like, oh, I'm a parent, I shouldn't have to explain myself. Yes, the fuck you do.
Right.
Because if you
Thank
go
you.
to a job and you need to do a certain task, you're gonna ask you, can you explain to me how to
Right.
Come
do
on.
this? Explain that shit to your children too.
Come on, man.
Because I
That
got
is
to
so
know the
true.
purpose. I'm one of the people. I got to know the purpose because it's not
There
gonna
you
make sense to
go.
me unless I know why.
Mm.
That part. That
Hold
part.
on. Give
Uh-oh.
examples of family secrets that should be kept. Shit.
Sexual abuse, emotional abuse, drug abuse.
I don't think none of
That
that shit should be
should be
kept.
kept.
Oh, did you say should?
Yeah. You give examples of family secrets that should be kept.
Financial standings.
Yeah.
That's it.
um
That's all I know.
any investments that you've got, anything that you've got coming up on the horizon, that could possibly turn into, what I'm saying,
Right.
generational wealth. And if you're going to share it, make sure that you share it with other families who either can come in and help you, or
Right.
either a family that you trust.
If
I
I'm
think
investing
anything.
in,
We
go
don't
ahead.
do
I'm
that
sorry.
anymore.
If I'm
People.
investing in, I'm sorry. If I'm investing in something that's going to yield millions, I want everybody in my family to invest in that shit.
Yeah, in your
But
family though.
but even with the same token, I don't need you to know how much I invested. I know back in the day, and we don't do that as much anymore. But the old folks will say your slip is showing. Whenever you would be like with the GoFundMe, now we got people out here GoFundMe for passing, for burials and funerals and stuff. Old folks, that your slip is showing because nobody should never know that you are in financial ruins like that you can't even bury yourself.
Mm.
Mm.
That's because of YOLO. You only live once. Live in the moment. Fuck
Right.
more.
I remember, and I was talking to somebody. I said, y'all remember the insurance man?" And I remember the insurance man used to come through. The white man named Frank, and he'll come through and he'll collect everybody's insurance money.
That
And
white
Whenever it
man
started
named Frank.
15th.
he coming through the projects. It's coming to make sure that everybody's policies is paid up.
And check on his kids.
Right. I was going to say, Frank was fucking, Frank was fucking too. He was. Some of them payments was getting paid by Frank. Trust me. That's
I'm
one
sorry,
of
my
them.
my
What goes
spirit
in
just
my
left.
house
It'll be
stays in
back.
my house. That was
Come on,
staying in the
man.
house.
That's what, hey.
Yeah, that was one of what goes on in my house stays in my
Stays in
house.
his house. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
Frank was
goodness.
Frank
coming through
was
my life. Frank was
listen, this
I think
man,
Frank probably dead, but
what
Frank
age is
Frank had a
appropriate?
nice ass flashy
Woo.
car. He had the
And he had about 3 families.
probably the bail bondsman too.
Um,
What is an
at this
oof?
point, what age is appropriate to discuss sex with your child? Um, with the fact that they have they can get on the internet, you gonna want to start talking to them as early as possible.
As soon as
Um,
they ask, I
and
think.
so yeah,
As soon
that
as they
There you go.
bring up the subject.
Yeah.
my oldest two. I don't know if I told y'all the story about me talking to them about sex. Their father had caught them looking it up on online. I was at work doing a 7A to 7P, 12-hour shifts. I was always at work. But anyway, he called me. He was like, oh my God, he freaking out. I didn't seen him online looking up sex and da da da. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to him when I get home. So I get home, greet everybody, call the kids downstairs. We're sitting at the round table, literally round table. And I told my son and my daughter, I said, well, your father told me, you all have been looking up sex. I said, you don't have to look it up on the internet. You can ask me anything you want to know because that's exactly what I had to do to get you here. Literally. And then I had to brace myself. I said, don't ask your friends. Ask me. I know more than them. I did it just to get you here. It took everything in me when my son posed that first question. Mom, what is titty fucking? And I said, oh. I said, okay, well, titty fucking is what, and I went and I explained it to him. We talked about sex. That's probably the reason why he's waited so long to have children. My daughter was sitting there because they're third step. They're like 8, 9. He's 25, she's 24. So this is about 10, 11. She's almost 25. She doesn't have any children. I might have traumatized them. I don't know. I probably gave them too much information. I don't know. But we talked about sex. They was able to ask all questions. Well, he asked all questions. And my daughter just sat over there like this because she couldn't believe that I was being. Don't ask your friends. They don't
Right.
know.
Right.
I have no idea.
They don't know. The internet don't know. Come ask me. I know. Showed them what a healthy vagina looks like, showed them what an STD looks like on a vagina and on a penis, showed them what giving natural birth looks like. We had a whole sex education that whole evening.
Wow.
They ain't had
It
no
probably
problem
would have scared them to birth.
Wait, how old were they? How old were they, if you don't mind me
Maybe
asking?
maybe 10, 11.
Okay.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
you Me and Brianna just had the conversation Sunday. No, yeah, Sunday. On the way coming home from the hairdresser. I told her the story that I just told you all about how I talked to the other kids. I said, for you, um, the way that you're leaning, I said, okay, let's talk about it. Ask me anything. I want you before you my my request was before you decide to take that step, especially if you're under my roof. Come talk to me first.
Right. I don't think you can ever give too much information to a child when it comes to
Yeah,
talking about
you
sex.
want them prepared. And I
Yeah.
looked at my son and I said, just because it's stink, that don't mean that it's a good thing.
I can hear you saying that too.
I was
Yeah.
very raw with it. I was not going to sugarcoat anything. I said, if
Yeah.
you see a bump, I said, make sure you look. You see a bump, a blister, back up. You got antibiotics in your future if you do,
Yeah.
or you might
I
get
don't
something
mean to
that you
laugh.
can't get rid of. So you better use protection. You better
I
use
don't mean to.
protection.
I don't mean
But
to
the
laugh. I'm just.
honesty. Yeah,
Yeah, the
because
honesty is. Yeah.
not only
Mhm.
you don't just got to worry about a baby, but you got you ain't got to worry about life, but you got to worry about death too.
Mhm.
There are
That
certain
part. Yeah.
things out here that will destroy you forever.
Yeah.
It's facts. Yeah. That's
Or
very
or
true.
remind you of your fuck up. every month
Hmm.
or two.
And I know
Yes.
by my mom being so open with the information, when I'm hearing my friends talk about it because they already done had sex, I'm looking at them like some of the stuff they don't even know what they talking about. Because I know, because she, she done sat down all the way down to drawing the fallopian tubes and everything else.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
better to strap them so they're not out there listening to their friends.
yeah. Don't listen. Don't listen to them. They don't know. How old are they? They the same age as you. They don't know nothing.
Girl, I was so mad I lost my virginity. Where's my fireworks and my stars and all that stuff that they be showing on TV? I ain't getting none of that. I'm like,
Right.
ugh. I had to do it
You know,
again. Just
I wish lose it all over again.
with
Go put it
somebody
in a
else
tub.
early. Like, no, this ain't working. This I gotta find out if this is how this is supposed
No.
to be.
Ooh, does privacy protect family or isolate them? I mm, I think it isolates. I'm gonna get to the. If you don't mind, I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Mm,
But I
okay.
wanted to. The reason being is because I wanted to give you kudos, God level,
Oh.
and I wanted to give you kudos, and I also, once again, me being vulnerable with myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm transparent.
Right.
When I had my two oldest boys, I was not I was not as free thinking as you were. I was still heavily up under the influence of what I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in the church. It was very
Mm-hmm.
rigid, like a very fear-based, like God is going to kill you if you have premarital sex, like that whole,
Mm-hmm.
like he's going to strike you down, like you don't get any blessings, like that whole entire thing, right? And uh their dad their dad had a very unhealthy friend who exposed them to those images, which images I'm talking about, at a very
Mm-hmm.
young age. And especially when you got this spicy brain like I do, the
Mm-hmm.
neurodivergent brain, that fucks a kid up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for my kids, when I found that they were trying to, they were curious. They were curious and they were looking that stuff up on the internet. I was going through, like, um, web browser history and all that kind of good stuff. And I freaked out, freaked out. I freaked out the same way that my parents would have, you know, and I didn't give them grace that kids are supposed to have to be curious and to grow up in that type of stuff. And now, knowing better, I do better, and I've apologized to my kids for being that freak out parent. You know what I'm saying? And not embracing their curiosity and explaining at the same time. And I think it is because of the fact that I didn't know how to talk about how I was still pissed off at that family friend for being a toxic ass family friend and showing
Mm.
them something that they weren't ready for. And
Right.
instead of addressing it that way. So I just wanted to say, and that's an example how, because I didn't go to that toxic friend and say anything about it, that isolated my boys and it didn't protect them. You know what I'm saying? It didn't protect them because now, because they still have stuff around that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that privacy, I think that it isolates families. I mean, it definitely,
Mm-hmm.
it keeps you from being able to be your authentic self.
Hmm.
If you're always walking around and you know that you got a secret, you're going to be insecure. You're always going to wonder if somebody's going to find out. If somebody can tell your truth instead of you, you're always
Mm.
going to walk around like you got to look over your back for
That is
something. You know what I'm
true.
Yeah.
saying? Behind your back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think it isolates. It isolates us.
Hmm.
It's
Mm.
no good. It keeps the family sick. It keeps all of us sick.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you don't have a bond, or you don't have any trust with your children if you cannot have an open dialogue about things. I was lucky enough to grow up in a family where I was able to have open dialogue, but I know some girls that said they didn't even know nothing. They started their period and it just, they didn't know anything about it. They weren't prepared or anything.
Oh,
And the
no.
only thing they was just told
Never.
is not to get pregnant. Not no not
We
even
make that a
discussion.
day.
Yeah, not a discussion that
Nobody
We
told us about
made
it.
that a day.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it should be, because I'm like, and it should be a discussion of what's next, because basically it was just, your ass better not come in here pregnant. They didn't
Yeah.
know how they was gonna get that way.
I was just told to grab one of them things and put it on and go back in the living room. But when it came to my daughters, I hugged them, I squeezed them, I told them I loved them. We went shopping, we had dinner. It was just us. We I educated them, welcomed them to womanhood.
That's beautiful.
I tried to make it beautiful.
Right,
Yeah.
not nasty
Yes.
and vile.
Dismissive.
Yeah, and then
Dismissive.
I feel like King Newborn has just been sitting there like wanting to say
He's just
something. He's like, wait a
watching.
second.
right,
Is he
he
just
You
have
know, he
observing?
always wait to the end of the show and then give us a
right, and
contact.
then give us all the news.
Let us have it. Peace, peace,
Mhm.
peace.
That's when you know he didn't listen enough. Okay.
No,
Um,
I was just waiting to be introduced like normal, but I ain't feel like I was family. So
Oh,
Oh,
I'm a
you should.
guest, so I'm gonna sit in the back. It's peace. Y'all
Oh,
doing a great job.
you should have jumped on in.
okay, I'm sorry. Dumore, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? No. I'm so sorry. I love this man. Y'all know I love this man. This when I met my brother, I'm just a side note. When I met my brother and I listened to him talk, going to the barbershop was the highlight of my weekend. Just to sit and listen to this man talk. I just be he is so smart. We should have grew up together. I would be so much further in life if I had him in my life. Ah!
is that what we doing now? That's what we
What?
doing?
We do have sound effects on this.
Oh my god. Y'all done messed up.
I'm so serious and listening to all the brothers that came in, nothing but respect for him. Like I looked up one day, he had like 6, 7, 8 people. They wasn't even getting a haircut. They was just standing there listening. While he talking, cutting hair at the same time, and they all tuned in like, yeah, yeah. I promise you, like I used to be sitting on that couch like, what? Is that what that
That's,
means?
if you don't know, I like to kick it to King Newborn because I'm like, what's he gonna say? What him gonna say today? Yeah, he has some good insights. I mean,
Who wrote
everybody on
that?
here does.
Yeah,
But yeah. Oh,
absolutely.
oh,
Who
I just
wrote
read
that?
the.
I
I think
didn't
that was
share what
Shy
happened
Game.
to me when I was younger because my family thought it should have been kept private. No one was open to counseling or holding anyone accountable.
Oh, that word accountability.
Mhm.
We're
I am.
protecting. What did you call the crazy uncle, the sick uncle? That was what Aaron said. The sick uncle. Why are we
Oh,
protecting
yeah,
them?
why are we? Yeah, we
Why do we protect the abusers that's in our family abusing our children?
tradition.
Delusion.
Yeah, it's a man that and I don't see how it's possible, but I know of a man that was in prison for a very long time for sexually abusing children. And first thing he do is come home, and where does he go? To mama house. And I know that certain parents are ride or die with their children or whatever, what have you. But I'm just like, how is that acceptable? Because how long was he doing this before he got caught? How long was he doing it and you wasn't saying nothing?
Okay,
I say this all the time. They keep them down in the basement, and then the first thing they do is don't send the kids down there. They can't go down there and get the freeze pops because Uncle Daryl down there, because y'all know he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Or grandma getting too old to keep a good eye on them.
let
She
me.
used to keep the kids corralled and keep a good eye on. What happens when one slips past it slips past because she ain't with it no more like she used to be. She ain't as witty, and now that they got caught, people are willing to take that sacrifice. My kids can't be babysit. They can't stay at the house. They can't be
Right.
near. They can't nothing.
Right.
But you have people out here that will allow their kids. Mama can watch the kids, and you got Uncle Daryl nasty ass in the basement.
Here's my thing. I don't understand. I get it. Okay, fear. You got fear. Once you get past fear, right? The fear of these secrets coming out because you think that
Right.
somebody's going to judge you, right? Got it. Once you get past the fear and you really think about who's judging you, then what's left? Because people are going to judge you regardless. It doesn't matter if your secrets are out, or it doesn't matter if they just look at you and just figure, oh, well, you're 5'6", you must be this, or you're half black, half white, da 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 da, or you're a barber, or you're a nurse, or whatever. People are going to judge you. Period. So once you get past the fear, and once you get past the fact that somebody is going to judge your family, then what is left? Why are we keeping these secrets? This shit is
Right.
keeping us sick.
Hey,
And
yeah,
I'm just thinking about
Yeah.
how Love Sean said that nobody was open to counseling, or nobody wanted to hold anybody accountable. Nobody wants to hold people accountable. They don't want to hold them accountable because then they have to admit that something is also probably damaged within themselves. But the thing is that you can't heal and get better until you address that something is wrong with yourself.
Right.
Something is wrong with your family unit. You can't stop hurting people. You can't have people go down. A child should be able to go down to the fucking basement and get a fucking freeze pop and not have to worry about Uncle Daryl's nasty ass. They
Right.
shouldn't have to worry about that. Or I'm not even going to call him nasty. I'm just going to say that he's maladjusted and he's got issues, and nobody gets well unless you talk about the issues. It just makes me angry. James Baldwin said, "You can't you can't change something if it's not addressed, right? But you can't even address it if you're not willing to bring it up."
exactly.
That's not the quote. It was something that was much more
Yeah,
eloquent,
because-
right?
Yeah,
I
I
promise you.
get you. No, we got
Yeah.
you. We
And I
get
got it
you.
on a t-shirt. But yes,
Right.
but I'm just like, you can't even begin to talk about the stuff that's dysfunctional. And I mean, at the end of the day, all it is fear. Get past fear. It's fear. And I got it. Fear is it's a big motivation, but your fear of what the same people who are sitting next to you in the brownstone next to you, what they're thinking. Guess what? They got their shit too. And it
Right.
stinks. And if they get counseling and you don't, then who's the fool?
And here's
Who
another
is the
thing.
fool?
Your secret, man, it's not always your fucking secret. People know.
Come on.
Like we just said about mind your business and stuff like that. There's some people that know. So you rather you not address it. So if you don't address it, it didn't happen. But they still talking about you because they know what happened. This man, they knew that everybody knew. This how far back it goes. The lady had been living in the house so long that the boy that happened to, it was a real crazy situation that it happened to. She was still living across the street from the same apartment complex that it happened in. So when he came home, so of course the whole neighborhood, this has been a story that's been going on around in the neighborhood for 20 some odd years, as long as he's been locked up. Who are you hiding it from?
Girl. Oof. I'm sorry. I'm just like, that makes me so hot, man. It makes me so hot. Sometimes you never get past the fear and do a self-evaluation that you see something is wrong with your thinking. I'll tell you the reason why. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. It hurts because our egos do not want to admit that something is wrong with us.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to let go of that. And Black people, we are a proud people. And nobody wants to be like, something is wrong with me.
Right.
Yeah, bullshit. Everything wrong with me. Let's start with quote number 1. Because you know something, I'm gonna be healthier, and hopefully my kids are not gonna have to live with that shit.
Right.
And that's the reason why we have kids. We have kids so we can pass on better, so that they can be human beings and they can come up better and they can contribute to the community. But nobody is contributing unless they are addressing this bullshit. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna put myself on mute.
It's okay,
You're telling the truth.
'cause-
That's
The
real talk.
newborn cleared his throat, so I'm just like, okay.
It's a lot of passion on this show today, because
Yes.
we really have
Oh.
went into real deep.
Mm. And I'm sorry, Love Sean, that you have went through that, man. And I'm glad that you're getting
Yes,
some
Yeah,
healing,
I'm
girl.
sorry, and I'm sending positive healing energy to you because I
absolutely.
know it's not the healing process is every single day.
There you go.
Every single
The
day.
Facts.
I don't think
healing
that you can just
every
be healed
day.
and then all of a sudden I'm fine. I think it's a continuous situation, and I think that's another thing where we have a problem because we think that we fixed it a little bit and we just broke open a few little barriers and now we fine, and then we realize we ain't as good as we thought we were, and now we got to go back and do the work all over again. It's a continuous thing. You're going to have to continue to do the work and heal every single day. It's not an easy process. I'm talking about I'm 48 years old. So we talking about maybe within the last 5-6 years as I started working on healing. So that means I got 43 years. How I'm gonna fix that in a couple of
In a
sessions of
day.
counseling? How I'm gonna fix that with self care? Go ahead. I'm sorry, King Newborn.
Oh no, it's peace. It's all peace. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast. You know, God level. Thank you for bringing me aboard. You know, this King Newborn. I enjoy this panel. I love the topic. I love everything that your beautiful women have been expressing through your passion and experiences, and also knowledge of other people's experience. Um, the one main thing I continue to hear is the act of self making a decision, regardless of what does be going on in your home front and other people's home front. Is anybody willing to make the decision to fight against and be willing to lose their own life, whether it's in your home front or someone else's?
Mm,
That is the greatest fear. It's one thing to know what being fearful of something and recognizing danger. That takes two totally different mindsets, but it also requires you to react differently to both. Um, for the longest, you heard the story of the boogeyman until you understood the boogeyman was in your house.
Mm.
Ooh wee.
Mm.
Woo.
So it's cool to talk about it. We'll pass the story along with the trauma and the curse of the boogeyman, so it will live on through the storytelling being passed down. But then when the boogeyman is actually in your house, then it's real.
Yeah.
That's when you have an issue. But see, it's cool to talk about all this, but when do we talk about, okay, what do we do when it's a immediate threat, when it's intimate, when it's right now,
mm,
when the danger is present? It ain't even a fear no more. It's here right now.
right.
What do we do
I mean,
then?
it will hurt you. Yeah, it will hurt you.
Just like you saying, well, let me not say just like you saying, but also what I'm hearing, everything that I'm hearing is the presence of women. I'm not hearing presence of men. No disrespect. I'm just saying I'm not hearing no presence of men in nothing that's been said tonight. None. I understood from my childhood growing up, even in the projects, just like Ern and my sister as well. In the projects, you understood drug dealer, gangster, gang member, abusive man as quote unquote a strong, manly, masculine man.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
But the guy that actually did work that you didn't see too much, or because he was somewhat of a nice church going man, had
Mm,
values, morals, he did understand right from wrong, he did have standards, he did want to create a safe haven that had rules, regulations, and guidelines. Sometimes those rules, regulations, and guidelines was him taking care of someone else's children, not necessarily his own.
Right. Wow.
So, you know, some of the things that we speaking of, I'm just saying men aren't present. We're just looking at the masculine men from an abusive standpoint, saying that this is the norm of what's supposed to be in the home front. Also talking about certain children that molested other children or even was molested by parents, some of those children that grow up to be adults are still mama's baby. And that's why they still in a home front.
There you go.
Versus the actual man that was, the cornerstone or the leader of the house that said, no, he gotta go.
Go. There.
So again, no disrespect to nobody. I know it's somebody in this world out of 9 billion people that would say, well, my mom and dad was there. But was it your dad? Or was it the man serving the role because mama had a secret? Like we just said, what goes on in the household stays in the household.
Ooh,
So
come
when you
on,
start
man.
breaking all these stories down, the word accountability did pop up in the chat. Who are we trying to hold accountable for other people's doing when they should be holding themselves accountable as well?
Woo.
Let's oh my God.
So again,
Oh.
I'm not pointing finger at nobody. There's nobody to blame about this. But when it's all said and done, we all have a decision to make. You want to heal the community? Look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I holding myself to accountability with true, I'm going to say it again, with true understanding that I'm making the right decision about this next move I'm finna make? And sometimes our will is just a want. Our will ain't even a necessity or a need for family structure, period. It's for self-gain.
Talk that talk, boy.
I'm just saying, I'm I don't even know if well, anyway, I'm gonna say it like this. I don't know my grandfather on my mama's side. And that's a long laundry list of some stuff. But at the same time, I don't know what was taking place at that time, that era. So do I take that and hold them accountable for now? And make it be as if, well, you was wrong. And you do. Or I let that be an understanding of, well, you know what? In order to break that, I have to be the sacrificial lamb.
Yep.
I gotta be willing to die that don't happen again. I mean, it's cool to do the healing,
Right.
because you do have to do the work to heal oneself. But
But it
you're
has
doing
to
it, so
stop.
where do it stop?
Say it again.
I said it has to stop.
Where does it
does.
stop? Where do you end it at? Where do you break the cycle? Where do you say, you know what? If I have to die behind this, I bet you'll end right here.
Yeah.
I bet y'all make a noise
That part.
loud enough within the family, within these 4 walls, that when you leave outside, we ain't even gonna speak about it because what they did was noble. But see, we keep on looking for outside men to support what's going on in other people's home fronts, but these outside men can't even be in a regular home fronts. We continue to put them out because of our passionate, emotional, and feelings. Just because he said something that, who you think you is, to calm down. I might see some or have some intellect of something that might transpire that I need to protect you of. Just because you don't see it right now doesn't mean that it won't happen.
That part. But go ahead.
Can I just piggyback off of what you just said real quick? Because I watched a video of a young lady who had a daughter, and the man came over to visit, and even though they wasn't together, he absolutely seen a video of his young daughter sitting on her uncle's lap, and he was like, "I don't want that for my daughter."
Mm.
And she totally had an attitude with that, and I thought to myself, he's right.
That's old school though. I'm like, I don't know what these young kids do. My daddy didn't play that. I remember trying to stand in between his legs. He's sitting on the couch, and I'm trying to stand in between his legs. And I remember him pushing me. No,
Like we
I
don't do
couldn't
that.
get on his lap like
Real
that.
men don't do that.
I seen a Santa Claus get beat up because of it. I'm talking about hands, feet.
And I could see that because you don't. What's sitting on his lap? Think about what body part is sitting on his lap.
And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. The mama wanted a photo. It's okay for him to sit there. I just told you I ain't want him sitting on the lap. Ah la la la. We in public. She went all the way left. Santa Claus still picked up his daughter, hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not BSing. Hands and feet.
I can believe that.
To also piggyback off what Miss Erin said, I hate it when little girls walk up and try to come between my legs and I'm shoving them. Oh, you ain't got to. Whoa, time out, time out. She shouldn't even feel that comfortable to want to be between my legs.
There
You
go.
as a parent shouldn't even be allowing it.
Yeah. Think about when you, after a certain age, holding a child and they wrap their legs around you. Think about the body part. You know, with me, and I think it's a little more with women, and some weird ass women out here too. Like, I don't put nothing
Oh
past
yeah,
nobody. Everybody's a
That's
suspect to
facts.
me.
public sex offender. Look it up.
Yeah, it's everybody's a suspect. But that they little bottoms is sitting right on your side when you holding them. You know what I'm saying? Or you sitting on the lap, they sitting right. That's just not nothing. Like you said, they should not feel that comfortable at all with any man. Not even daddy. You know, and daddy should even really be more like, no, that's just too much. And then you get an understanding as you get older and why, because I didn't understand, when I was younger. But when I get older and thought about that memory, I'm like, I see why he
Like,
did that.
oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you got to be real careful. 'Cause I'm just gonna wrap it up. You got to be real careful. My daughter, and when she was yay high, like maybe like 1 or 2, walking. A family member came to the house. A male family member came to the house, and I was with my um, ex at the time. And the male family member just, showed my son some love. And then when it came to my daughter, he was overly affectionate. And my daughter, the look on her face was like, I am not comfortable with this. And I looked at my ex like, you know what? I do put my daughter down.
There you go.
Right. I'll let you handle it. But since,
Yeah,
you're not,
since you. And when
you're
I
not picking
talked
up
to
what
him
I'm putting
about
down.
it, I said, no man should be that comfortable with hugging and kissing on a little girl, especially one that do not belong to him.
Man.
Come on now. And he just looked at me. When I talked to one of the family members about it, because it got around, they was all hating me for that. Didn't care. I said, that's my daughter. Now what?
Yep.
Yeah. Because as I've said before, I'd rather be overly cautious, but I ain't gonna take a chance and find out. Even if my spidey sense is wrong, I'm not gonna take a chance and find out.
The look on my daughter's face was enough. I'm
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. Put her down.
Yeah.
But little
You know,
girls who believe. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nemore. Go ahead.
Because he ain't done. Go ahead, take us out. Because yeah, we didn't have a whole hour. Go ahead and take the
Yeah.
rest. Look, we just gonna sit back and listen at this point.
I'm putting myself on mute.
it's all
The-
peace. All
Me
peace.
too. Me too.
I just wanna point out, man, at some point we gotta restore the family period.
There you go.
We gotta restore the family period. Cause you can't blame no one person for no isolated nothing
Mm-hmm.
of any secret within the family. You can't blame no one religion. You can't blame, the mom for whatever trauma she been through because of her mom and her mom's mom. Man, come down to a decision. You're either with the shit or you're not. And if you're with the shit, you gotta ride it all the way out. By any means necessary. Any curse you trying to break, even the question right here, how do we balance privacy and openness within the family? Are you that strong enough to stand up against that? You might have to fight one or two of them relatives.
There you
But
go.
can you still love them after the fact and say, no, we still good. We got that out the way. We see who really is the bigger person.
Mm.
But see, we ready to kill each other at that particular point. Sometimes you gotta air that shit out. I've had men in my life that I bumped heads with. After it was over with, what's good with it, D? Trying to get a drink.
Mm.
And two of them men, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't win, but they knew the level I would go to. See, it's a definitive line for men talking to men without using words to establish an understanding. And sometimes you have to take that same mentality within your home front to make sure certain things don't happen. This is part of protecting and providing for a family. Again, like I say, if you take the man out the equation, there's no equality, there's no balance, there's no harmony, there's nothing. The woman, or excuse me, the woman has nothing to bounce any ideas off of.
Hmm.
Hey, babe, what you think about this? And be open to whatever the criticism may be. It could be just a little tweaking. It could be something simple. I ain't like the way you say that's Uncle Roy. Oh, I ain't like the way he was looking when my baby. I'm gonna allow you to check it the first time
There you go.
because I ain't related. The next time, it is what it is because this is my castle. I have to protect this castle.
Huh?
If I see stuff that is not divine, we gotta do some away with it. We gotta do away with it. Oh, that's my bro. I don't care about none of that. The moment any divine woman decides to let a man not just into her kingdom, but put him in the position to reign over the castle, sometimes you might need to listen to what he's saying because he's not only
Absolutely.
looking out for your safety, his as well.
Right.
Because if he gets dismantled, who is there to protect you?
Right.
So now we back in the same cycle all over again. What we doing here? You know what I'm saying? We can't continue to keep blaming. At some point, we got to make a decision. It's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with going to counseling. Ain't nothing wrong with taking on any of the tools and the resources they give you to help you heal. That's peace. Because past, present, and future, they all exist simultaneously. It ain't nothing but a thought process. Back to making another decision all over again. So we want to clean up the community. We got to start at the home. How our home look? Do we have broken relationships? Are we being the trendsetters to help our children see what a real healthy relationship look like so they have a model image to go with my mom and my dad, or my mom and her boyfriend, or my dad and his new girlfriend, or step.
I honestly believe, I agree with you in some points. I agree with you with a lot of points. I also do believe that that takes an understanding that we just as a people, like we're getting there.
We're not
We're
there.
getting there. Like I think that we're getting there. And the reason why I said yes, we definitely need to reestablish the family, right?
Hmm.
But the thing is that if you can't if you can't see other points of view, if you can't see reality without being able to accept somebody else's reality, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? If you can't communicate, if you can't leave your ego at the door, if you can't even recognize the things that on both sides of the gender spectrum that are happening, that are if you can't be curious when somebody brings something to your attention and instead looks at it automatically like it's an attack on whoever you are as a person, you know, then that's where the family unit is not going to work. So I honestly feel that at this time, because of the fact that Black people are getting more into learning ways of functioning in a from a higher level, like we got people who are actually going past the survival mode, and they're learning to like secure security for themselves. The that last line of Maslow's triangle, right? And then once you get there, then you can procure things like love and curiosity and vibrate higher so that you can accept somebody's reality without with realizing that they're not trying to be against you. And that's a lot of the reason why the black family, I think, is in deterioration, because we cannot see each other's reality. We cannot get out of delusions. We can't accept each other's opinions without having to butt up against them automatically, you know? And it's just kind of hard to integrate that. And I do it, but I do agree with you. I want to say that much. Yeah.
Okay, peace. I want to add to your wisdom. When you first recognized something was wrong, how old was you?
6. You mean just
Okay.
in general with my
Eh,
family?
Just in general with your family.
6. Yeah.
Okay. So at 6, even though you may have not been equipped with the knowledge, the tools, the know-how of anything, you knew it was wrong.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So from that point on, who will we, unfortunately, who will we still hold accountable?
You hold the parentals accountable. We
You hold
do.
the parent we hold the parents accountable.
Yep.
In some cases, or in all cases.
No, actually, to tell you the truth, I took that. Kids do that. Kids take that like it's their fault. You know what I'm saying? Kids, they blame themselves when something is not necessarily going wrong, or going right with their family. You know, they'll be like, "Well, what part did I? Well, this is because of me." You know, so some of it you put it on your parents, and a lot of it, kids put it on themselves.
So what would you recommend that we do to protect the children that we see from afar that something ain't right?
That we see from afar.
Like you said, it's not our home front.
Hmm.
Mm.
I mean, you're asking me
Well,
because if
I'm throwing it out there because I think everybody on this panel has came across the presence of a child and the energy was off and you'd be like something ain't right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I show them something different, yeah,
And
I
how many
invite them into
times?
my home. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was finna say, and at times, how many times have we ignored that? Because, like we said, it's not my problem. It's not
Hmm.
my business. Matter
Hmm.
of fact, I'm gonna mind my business. See, I'm just bringing it back full circle, back to that decision again. See, it's cool to try to heal, but what level we
Hmm.
trying to heal at? If it's just isolated to
Got
take
you.
care of itself, are we trying to really do it worth dying to take care of the community? That's all. That's
Got
all
you.
I'm asking.
Got you. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that once you get
Wow.
that knowledge, how much are you extending it out? How
Yeah.
much are you branching out? And how much are you
Ooh.
just like, okay, so I've got this. How can I be of service to
Apply
the rest of
science.
the community?
And
Apply
Yeah.
science. Show and prove.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say I
that's
could definitely answer that one because I know that I am always trying to share this knowledge.
oh,
You know,
all
and
day.
the reason why I'm always it's funny. It's just like if you get high and you got the best weed that you ever had before, you want your people to try it. This is what this process is to me. It's one of the best highs I've ever had, so I want everybody to try it. Now, a
Mm.
it's
Okay.
a lot of people ain't too receptive, aren't as receptive to it as I would like for them to be. But I'm so engulfed in this high of healing and doing better and being better that I'm trying to pass it on to everybody,
Everybody.
any and everybody that will listen. And then it goes
They
back
gonna
to the
pick it
point,
up.
I'll go back to the point when you said, who do you hold accountable? I stopped trying to hold people accountable for the mistakes because a lot of people that have done things to me or things that have went on, they know not what they do. But I know that I just got to do better. I can't
That part.
continue that on.
Accountability.
That part. That is.
Accountability and making a decision all over again. This is where the buck stops right here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like
That's
like you
it.
said, Miss Ivy, once I know better, I do better.
Yep.
Hmm.
But if I really wanted to be not just in the household, but on the outside as well, because what goes on in the household could be to the point it's so effective and it's so infectious
Yep.
that it touches the community. They be like, yeah, you go over there to Johnson's, they don't play no games.
Hmm.
That's it.
Don't play
That
no games.
literally,
Mm.
Well, what they got
Yeah.
going on over there? Well, I don't really, that's hey, I'm just saying, don't go over the bullshit.
And they will, and
that's
people
it.
will do that, and
Yeah.
people will say that, yeah, and people will put it out there. Oh, they don't
Yeah.
play
Yep.
about theirs. Don't
Right.
go over
Yeah.
there with no bullshit.
Or they will be like their love is extended, like you can
Yeah.
feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And that's
yeah,
just
yeah.
because of the fact of
Along with
whatever
the
it is that you
discipline
picked up.
though. Don't skip that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, I was gonna
Please
say
don't
that
Yeah.
skip that
structure.
part.
I've seen people be very kids coming up being attracted to the structure and the discipline of the certain things because my mom was always present. We grew up in the
Mhm.
crack era though, but she was always present. She was always a mom, and she wasn't the nicest person in the world at times, but she was always a parent. So we would have a lot of kids come over to be around us because there was that parent in the home, and most kids run on autopilot because there was no parent, there was no structure. So it can be attraction, it can be attractive, and it can be infectious to have like that structure. And as dysfunctional as the love was, there was love there. I think she showed more love to other people's kids than she did her own. Well, me, but yeah, definitely it can spill over. You are right about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, I just like there was something that you said, King Newborn, that kind of like touched on a nerve where you were like, it's good to learn what you learn, but how much are you like you I'm sorry, the hamsters just lost it. Fuck it, it'll be back next week.
Are you
Ooh.
saying it's good
Cool.
to heal,
It was
but
something that she said after that.
are you willing to die for that as well?
It was
For your children.
the hamster.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, for the chip. Yeah, oh
Yes.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yes.
That's a hill out. That is a hill I will die on.
That's the automatic
Yeah.
for me.
Here's the thing. Are you willing to die for your children, or are you willing to die for self? Die to yourself for your children. Because you can die for your children all day in the streets. Blah 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 blah. Somebody shot me because I'm trying to protect my kids, right? But my thing is that the problem is in the black community, are we willing to kill our ego and die to self to get the stuff that we need to be able to take care of our children correctly? Are we willing to? Do you understand what I'm saying? Are we willing
No,
to
I
kill
get it.
Yes.
off that? Yeah, like
Yes.
are we willing to kill
Yes.
off? When I was in therapy, when I went away to the
Yeah.
inpatient, one of the things that really stuck out to me is they told me, they was like, yes, your parents did this, they gave you trauma, got it. But once you hit 18, it's on you. That shit hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I was like, but wait, I thought I was just supposed to just blame them for all of their faulty stuff. No, you have to heal it because you are now an adult and you need to be a functional adult. You can't live in this adult child stage that they grew up in.
Right.
You have to do
Peace.
that. So my question is can you die to yourself?
We
Can
back to
you
that
kill
word
your ego?
decision again. Back to the word making a decision again. You with the shit or you not? What we doing for real?
Mm.
You talking all day long. Okay, after you finish talking, what we doing?
Right.
What you on for real?
Right.
You willing to kill off that old version? Like you just said. See, we want to continue to blame someone else for our decision making. You can't do that.
You can't.
Come on, man.
I want y'all to know that that bitch that I used to be, she died 5 years ago. I know y'all didn't get to come to the funeral,
I second it.
but she gone.
I know her. I knew who she was.
Right, and she.
I knew who she was.
I was gonna say it's someone quite right about that motherfucker. But she no, but she served her purpose.
Right.
She got
That
me.
part.
She got me through a lot of stuff, and now it's time for the grown Aaron to take us the rest of the way. Because I think for maybe 10, 15 years, I'm still working on that childlike. I'm still working off that childlike person I was, that trauma person that I was. And
Yeah.
I'm still, I'm gradually getting out of it quick tempered, quick to cuss somebody out. Didn't care if we got to go, whatever, however you want to do it. Very rough. So she dead. She's gone because I have now allowed the grown person. I trust my grown self enough to guide me on to the rest of my days. And live
That
life
part.
to the fullest.
That
It was
part.
a chick going off as she was sitting down eating some sunflower seeds.
Believe
Unbothered, but
it.
the girl is going off. She popped that sunflower seed, looked up at it. She said, "Now you know when I get up, it's a problem, right?" That
Just,
was the old era.
just
Yeah,
right. But I wasn't I wasn't gonna rah. I didn't do no whole lot of rah with nobody. I wasn't.
none. Just you
Not even
know that when I stand up,
yeah.
that's it.
It's not gonna be good for
That's
you.
the energy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
That
your
was
energy
the
there.
energy.
Yeah,
That was the energy.
yeah. No, that for real. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll tell everybody this is like the fourth iteration of Ivy. This is the one
Yeah.
I'm kind of good with. Like this one is fully into learning. So
What's
yeah,
up?
this one is fully into to learning and evolving and to finally be authentic to teach my kids how to be authentic. Because I'm like, I feel like if you can live a life of authenticity, that's going to radiate, and no matter like that's gonna leave them resilient. That's what I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like the second and the third versions of me thought that I had to placate, the people please in order to get along in life. And this one is like gives no fucks. I'm just like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So
And I
yeah.
think we're doing exactly with this podcast. We're doing a lot of that. We're trying to spread that information. We're giving out that knowledge that we all have, that we have all learned. We're trying to teach each other different things.
Ivy figured it out. She figured it out this summer. We were all on the phone trying to figure it out, and it came to her. We're giving back what was lost.
Come
Yeah,
on, man.
yeah.
She
Come on,
figured
man.
it out. Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy coming on here, telling my stories. My
Just so
learning.
you know, I tapped Aaron a year ago.
she say that all the time, but yeah, that is true. But I'm learning so much. Y'all helping me through. Y'all don't even realize that this helps me just as much as I'm trying to help other people. I'm sitting down hashing this out and chopping it up and stuff like that. Like I'm getting so much information and look at her. Look at her. Well, I'm gaining so much information and knowledge about myself as well as other people. So I'm loving this.
Mm. When I'm right, I'm right. John was number one, and then we had to go and talk about marriage. I knew I had to have my brother on here. Wow! I was sitting back like a kid in the candy store, like, get him, brother, get him.
She picked a good group.
You damn right I did. When I'm right, I'm right. God damn it. Ivy, you ain't going nowhere, girl. I will fly to you. I will fly to you.
I might just go somewhere just so you can fly to me and be like, come on, let's go.
Look,
Let's go to
make sure it's
Seattle.
sunny with some beaches.
I know, right? Come in the summer. I'll act up in the summer so you can come up. That's what.
Right, right. Don't worry about it. You can drive out. We'll split the drive.
Mm.
Oh my gosh!
I hope everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, because it sounded like you was about to do a close, and I'm like, you good.
I hope everyone that's watched this podcast is able to take something away from each and every last one of us. The message that was given here today. Not all is lost with us. We are not fucking hopeless, and don't ever think it. Please do not ever think it. What you grew up with does not determine how you are going to live the rest of your life. You are able to make changes. You are able to get help. You are able to stop it. You are able to put them on blast. Abuse is never good. It's not. Like King Newborn said, we need to reestablish our family.
Yeah.
In the home. Your home is your safe haven.
We need to start having these discussions.
Yes, you need to start having these discussions. Yeah. And to you women out there, yeah, because I know it's 65% of you that got the household. When you bring a real man in, listen. If he ain't giving you no bad advice, listen. Take it. Especially if he's a real man. Take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Don't be so full of your fucking self that you can't take some advice, some correction.
Aww.
That's beautiful, love.
I'm,
That's
I'm
beautiful, Sean.
okay. What happened? I missed what I
The
missed.
last post. She
Yeah.
What
says,
was it?
I'm in a
She said,
better place. Go ahead, Abby.
no, go ahead. You got it, Aaron.
I'm in a better place than when I first started listening to this podcast. I do a lot of self examination. This is a space I still feel I can share freely.
Peace, peace, peace.
Love.
That's
That's so
peace.
much
That's peace.
love.
That's what it's about, man. Feeling like you had a space to be free, to be yourself, where you can speak about things openly and nobody's judging you. You know?
We just gonna end on that note because that was enough for me.
Hmm. Wow.
I just want to shoot a little a last little piece of wisdom real quick, and like Miss Tanner on the self-examination, and Miss Ivy pointed out, once you become of I want to say age of the mind, not necessarily the number, but age of the mind, where the frontal lobe does develop to the point where you can practice discernment and judgment to make a somewhat of a fair decision, because sometimes we're not properly educated, or certain information ain't really pass us, or growing up in a toxic environment can't really disseminate, right from wrong in certain situations. But I just want to point out for any and everybody, if you're listening to this, and we appreciate y'all for the support, take time to make accurate decisions, no matter what you do every day. Keep bringing forth the best version of you in the home front and outside the home front, because you never know who may be watching and who may be listening. Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Peace. I'm speechless. Thank you so much, Love Sean. That was the greatest compliment that we could have ever had. That is the reason why we do this, because of what you just said right there. Ivy, do you have any final thoughts?
Girl, you know I talk a lot. I got a bunch, but I'm not gonna. We're good. That was beautiful.
Aaron,
No, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, it makes it worth it. It makes it all worth it. Definitely.
it does. Shout outs to everyone that's watching this podcast. Don't forget to plug me on YouTube, God Level 102. I don't know if John want to go ahead and post that real quick. I do have merchandise, godlevelshop.com. John, you did wonderful tonight. Thank you with the questions and everything just popped up perfectly. Even though we didn't get a chance to talk. Shout out to my sister who's been watching me thoroughly look at my phone and texting me, telling us, stop looking at your phone. I was sharing the live. I love you, girl. And we will see you all back here next week. John, you got me?